Warning: the following content is intended for mature audiences. Subjects such as PTSD, depression, anxiety, and suicide will occur and may disturb some viewers. The views and opinions in this video are not those of YouTube, its content creators, or affiliates. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back! So, first things first, I want to say I am sorry that I haven't been putting out as many videos lately as I've been wanting to, because, as I said, I've been dealing with my parents' divorce, and a few weeks ago we actually had trial, if you could even call it that, and I've been dealing with that, so it's been a rough couple of weeks for me. And the second thing I want to say is I've got my first 2 subscribers! Woohoo! So, I know, 2 subscribers, people like p.t.s.d, 53 million subscribers, Markiplier, 16, 17 million subscribers, me, 2. Not that auspicious, but hey, thank you guys for hitting that subscribe button. And hopefully I will be able to start moving on a little bit more fluidly from here, because this is the last video that I wanted to dedicate to that pre-prepared speech that I had made up, and now I can actually start talking about other situations and circumstances and ways of dealing with it and ways of thinking about it. So now we can start moving forward. And the last subject of that pre-prepared speech was how do you cure PTSD, and the stigma of thinking of it as a cure, as something that you can cure. Because, you know, I've said before, I'll say it again, you don't get rid of it. You don't make it all untrue. You don't just make it go away. You live with it. You make it a part of who you are. And to think that there's some sort of pill or program that can make it go away, it doesn't exist. And I've got a friend of mine up from California. He's moving back to Oregon from California, so he's staying with me, and he'll be able to give some outside opinion of that as well. But yeah, you can't cure it. There is no such thing as a cure for this. You take it, you cope with it as best you can, and one day you get such a handle on it that you actually get to make it a part of who you are. You take it from being a weakness to being a strength. And that's where a lot of people get tripped up as far as actually making progress with it, as far as, you know, feeling normal again. Because, you know, like I said in the last video or video before last, it takes you from who you were and turns you into who you are. So thinking that you can just get over it and get away from it, it doesn't happen. You know, this friend of mine that's gonna be in these videos, you know, he was there with me when I met the woman that I got engaged to, who passed away. So I've known him as long as I've had PTSD. He'll tell you, I'm not the same kid that I was. Nowhere near the same kid that I was. And yeah, I've got a lot of problems and faults still, but I've also got a lot more strength. I've got a lot more reliability, a lot more knowledge and wisdom and experience. And my question to the people who want to be cured, you know, there's only one question I can ask. Why would you want to be cured when you can be better? You know, there's a lot of stuff that can positively come from having PTSD. I know it sounds completely counterintuitive to say that, but but it's true. You can gain a lot of strength and intelligence and just be better, be stronger, be smarter than you were before. And I don't understand why people would want to get rid of something that can make them stronger, that can make them happier. And, like what I'm doing with mine, I'm taking all of this pain, all of this self-doubt, I'm taking all of this and I'm putting it to good use. I'm making it so that people can actually come to terms with what they've got, paying it forward. And I like that. I like being able to say, I'm helping people out. And it's not a bad thing if they just want to get cured and get it done and get back to the way they were. I can completely understand that because I've been dealing with it myself for 10 years. I wish I could be back to normal. I wish I could be that same kid that I was to a degree. But with the way the cards have been dealt with me, I didn't get that chance. So, here I am, trying to help people out as best I can. Because there's so many people in this world that are hurting, that are confused, that are not capable of actually grasping what it is that's happening to them. I want to help them with that. I want to make sure that it's being dealt with the right way, rather than just bury it down and, forget that it's even there. But not everybody wants to become that. Not everybody is going to be comfortable with doing that, because it really is, groping around in the dark, going into the darkest, scariest parts of your own mind and finding the light switch. It's a scary place. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, once you actually realize that all the stuff that's hiding in those dark places, all the stuff that's hiding in the shadows, lurking in the night, are nothing compared to you, it's a lot easier to get a handle on that stuff. It's a lot easier to make sure that you're the big baddie that's hiding under the bed. And you're hiding under the bed to make sure all those other little things that go bump in the night don't get that chance. You're the one that bumps back. And there's just so much more to PTSD once you actually get that handle on it. Once you actually get in the rhythm, you can actually go through and be so much better off. So that's why I don't like the idea of curing it, because yeah, it's hard, it's scary, it's unfamiliar territory, but you can be stronger at the end of it all. You can be so much more fearless and so much more of a leader at the end of it all. And granted, not everybody's cut out for it, but it's so much better when you don't think of it as a cure, because there is no pill to make it go away. There's no nicotine patch to take you back, 5, 6, 7 years before all that happened. Time travel doesn't exist. That's about the only legitimate way you could have for curing it, for making it not happen. You just have to find you have to find a way to actually make it a part of who you are. Take it from being a weakness and turn it into a strength. And with me, there was a bunch of things that actually did help out with getting to terms with it and turning it into a strength. I love science. I absolutely love working on physics, astrophysics, magnetophysics, chemistry, all that sort of stuff. It just, ooh, it gets me churning. I love heavy metal music. Granted, not everybody's a heavy metal fan like I am, but with heavy metal music, there is something that's actually very similar with PTSD. You take metal ore and you look at it as its raw form sits in your hands. There's a bunch of sharp, jagged points that can cut you. There's a bunch of dirt all over it. But if you cut it in half, or better yet, you smelt it into an ingot, and you cut it in half and you open it up, you see that the outside is covered with dirt and jagged edges, or it's covered with slag from the forge, but inside it's this smooth, beautiful, shiny surface. That's the same way you can think about heavy metal music. Yeah, it's gonna sound loud, it's gonna sound angry, rah! A bunch of loud nonsense that not everybody likes. But once you actually get into the music and you actually get into the band, you actually hear how melodic and how powerful the message of the lyrics are, and you hear what kind of story they're telling. It's a beautiful thing once you get past it. PTSD to me is the same way. It makes us very sharp and jagged and dirty looking on the outside. But once you get inside, once you get past that surface, and you stop judging people like books with a cover, because that's an irritating thing that's been going on lately. Once you get past all that, you actually see that, holy crap, this guy likes the same kind of sports that I do, or they like the same team that I do, or they listen to the same music, or they enjoy the same motor company that I do. You start finding out, they're a little bit more beat up, they're a lot more defensive and hard to get to trusting, but once you get past it, it's worth it. And they're using things like science or music or going on long drives as a way of actually coping with that. And you start finding out that there's so much more strength to them than you ever thought. So as far as curing PTSD, no such thing. But it's not just the people with PTSD that need to turn it into a strength. There's the people that don't have PTSD that are walking all over us because we're angry, or we're not trustful, or we're not so easy to get along with. That's not helping the situation at all. Treating someone that has PTSD as a danger or as not worth it, that doesn't help anybody out. That just leaves your butt hanging out in the breeze, showing people who you are. It doesn't help anybody to treat them like garbage. So start coming together. Start realizing that, hey, this person that's angry, they're just in pain. They're afraid, they're scared, they're guarded. They don't want to get hurt again. Can you blame them? No. So stop treating them like they're an enemy. They're just somebody that needs a hand up. Being treated like garbage by somebody is a completely different nugget of something to talk about. But it's part of what's holding people back. It would be a lot easier for people to actually get on board with feeling better about themselves if they actually had somebody helping them. That's what all of this that I'm trying to do is all about. It's about helping people. It's about looking beyond that cover. It's about getting beyond those sharp, jagged surfaces or those loud, angry, shrill screams, in a heavy metal song. It's not. The world isn't black and white. There's so many different colors. My hat, it's dark blue and red. The walls, white. That clock on the wall, kind of a light brownish with bronze faceplate on it. No black and white. Everything's in color. You can't just say, angry, not worth it. Happy, smiling, buying me drinks at a bar. They're more worth it than the person that's actually struggling. That's just leaving them behind. It doesn't help anybody, and it makes you look like a fool because you're not willing to put in that effort. But then you get into the problem of, okay, I'm hurting myself, this person's hurting, we both have trust issues. How do we get to actually trusting each other? You got to put in that effort. You've got to. Otherwise, there's no guarantee that somebody else will come along and actually help you out. Because when it comes to helping people out, think of it like working on a car. You've got the motor block, the heart of the beast, and you have to rebuild it, for example. And there's burnt carbon deposits on the heads. There's cooked oil in the cylinder walls. There's a whole bunch of muck inside that you have to dig your hands in elbow deep, clean it out, scrape it out. You're probably going to get a little hurt yourself because there's sharp bits in there. But you clean out all that gunk. You clean out all the oil. You clean out all the burnt carbon. And you clean it up. You get it all shiny. You make sure all the parts are working a hell of a lot better than it was. And that motor will run brand new quality. But how many people actually want to get their hands dirty? How many people want to risk, catching their pinky finger on the sharp side of a cylinder wall, or get their head bit off by somebody that they're trying to help, but they're not ready to trust you yet. They're not ready to actually let you see their hurt, their pain, open up their heart to someone. It's not easy being a friend to someone with PTSD. We are very mistrustful creatures. But we're still human. We're still worth it. There's nothing that's ever going to be able to change that because, sorry, there's only one race. It's the human race. And we have to bond together. We have to have each other's backs. Otherwise, we're just leaving ourselves to the coyotes. And trust me, living out in the country, coyotes are very vicious, advantageous creatures. But if you have somebody that has your back and actually is willing to not be afraid with you, you can scare off an entire damn pack of coyotes without any need of anything other than a loud voice. Why would I want to be cured of PTSD, still be afraid of pack animals like coyotes and wolves and raccoons and all these other country critters that end up possibly being a threat, when I could not be cured of PTSD, be stronger than PTSD, own my PTSD, and not let a possible threat come to pass. Actually be able to stand up and protect and defend my mom, my sister, my dog, my friends, my neighbors. I can understand why people want to be cured, but it's not as good as actually pushing through and making yourself happier. Making yourself actually be stronger. And it's going to be a pain in the butt. I will admit that right now. It's not easy. Sometimes it's damn sure not fun, and it's a lot easier to just say, I quit, I'm out, and be done with it. But you get through it. You get to a point where you're actually comfortable knowing that you've got more strength now than what you had before. Don't worry about curing yourself. Anybody who's watching this, the 2 subscribers, thank you again. The people that have PTSD, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. I'll never stop saying it. We are so much stronger than we think we are. We are so much stronger than the world thinks we are. We are absolutely unstoppable. The only thing that we have that can stop us is us. If we give up, if we give in, and that's not the answer. Not anymore. We can't afford it to be. Otherwise, if we don't have the strength to defend ourselves, if we don't stand up for ourselves, you can't risk somebody else finally taking charge and helping to defend you, helping to protect you. But if we, as human beings, come together, regardless of race, creed, color, religious beliefs, political beliefs, nationality, all this stuff, and we put it all aside, and we actually come together, and we bond together, and we give each other the strength that this one person needs because they're going through some stuff. They get through PTSD quicker, and all those pack animals looking to chew on our hides realize they better stay away from us because we will scare them off, and we will protect each other. Go ahead and come a-calling, coyotes. It ain't gonna work out for you. And we... there's so much more awesome stuff that'll happen once this starts picking up, and I start getting more people watching this and more people believing in this. There's so much more we can do once we have bonded together. Sky will literally not be high enough for us. Mainly because, like I said, I'm a science nerd. I want to go to Mars, damn it. Like me, personally, I want to step foot on Mars. I want to be able to see that there's a colony on the moon for us to live on and go to the stars from there. I want to see people start actually pulling together and celebrating all of the things that make us weak. Because you know what? Every weakness that we could have can be turned into a strength. I got my PTSD because I watched my fiance die. That's a hard thing to do, and my buddy John, he'll testify because he was one of the people that actually introduced me to her. He knows what I've been through. He's been there on a damn near daily basis with that. But once we actually start realizing that there is no cure, there's just making ourselves stronger, we'll start actually making things work out better. Because I'm still afraid of... Okay, this is going to sound wonky, but there's only one thing I'm really afraid of, and that's love. I'm not afraid of death, I'm not afraid of the dark, I'm not afraid of a fight, I'm not afraid of anything like that. Spiders gross me out, I'll be honest, but I'm not afraid of them. Mainly because I'm big enough I can just go, oh, a brown recluse spider, one of the most poisonous spiders in the world. Squish. Done. No threat. Hit it with a flip-flop and it's done. But I am afraid of falling in love. I'll admit that. But at the same time, as much of a weakness as that can be seen as, that means I know exactly what I want and what somebody is going to have to do to actually earn that. Granted, not likely that anybody's going to want to, but I know for a fact that the next time it does happen, if and when it does, I'm not going to let somebody get away with lying to me. I'm not going to let someone get away with manipulating me, using me, treating me like garbage. They're going to be measured up to a certain percentage before they even get a date out of me. If they don't measure up, then they can have friendship or they can kick rocks. Yeah, that's a bit of a weakness, but it can also be a strength. It's in the middle of my recording, you butthead. That's John. Come on, say hi.
What up?
He's a little afraid. You rat bastard. He really is a good guy. He's totally awesome dude. You worthless piece of muck-a-luck. Kind of friend everybody should have. Stealing my beer.
Thanks for the beer.
Of course, on second thought, sometimes...
Beer's what helps.
That's true. But for now, I'm going to end it here because that's the end of everything that I wanted to say about curing PTSD. It just doesn't work out. But we got more to come, and I got more to rant on. So, for now, always remember, never give up, never surrender.